everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Happy Friday to you all, and Happy New Year to you all. Wow, we all made it. We made it through 2020, and as I mentioned before, I don't think that we should all be, acting like 20 year was full of crap. There may have been so many hard times, so many struggles, but there are still so many important, memorable learning lessons and moments that we should still consider as positive if we just widen our perspective and change our mindset. But again, happy Friday, happy New Year. Just a reminder that this week we are talking about how to review your year, and today, Friday, New Year's Day, we are going to end that topic by talking about coming up with mindful changes for the new year. Before we jump in, every single time I want to again welcome you. Happy Friday, and encourage you to engage and do the 5-minute reset if you are struggling with the feelings and experiences that you're currently having. And if you really just want to kind of start your day over, draw a line in the sand and leave the other part of your day behind. The 5-minute reset allows you to take at least 5 minutes to be by yourself and reset, reboot, restart your day right then and there. It also allows you to take a break from any issues, problems, burdens that you're currently dealing with, and maybe take some time to come up with a resolution for any problems or issues that you are currently dealing with, whether it is alone or that it involves someone else. I always encourage everyone to come up with a list of at least 4 things that you are grateful for, big, small, or medium size. Maybe you're grateful that you get a day off of work. That's fantastic. Maybe you're grateful that you get a longer weekend so you get to spend more time with friends and family that you didn't maybe get over the Christmas holiday or even Thanksgiving before. So this is your opportunity. Maybe you're grateful that you just were able to get out and have some fun and spend some time with friends, like not too many friends, so you're COVID safe, but still were able to spend some time and really reconnect with real people. I totally understand that. Or maybe you are grateful that it's just a new year, you're ready to tackle your goals and just get after everything, or start preparing your goals and just feel so fresh and brand new. Whatever you're grateful for, it's fantastic, and it doesn't have to be anything grandiose. You can literally be grateful for anything, so the list is endless. Also, last but not least, make sure you're feeling at least positive, at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of your day, so that you can at least focus more in on those positive, amazing blessings in your life and not always focus in on the negative, because focusing more on the positive will help you get through those negative struggles and times. But I do hope that you're having a fantastic Friday today. Again, like I said at the top of the show, this week we were talking about how to review your year, and today, Friday, we are going to cap off that topic by talking about coming up with mindful changes for the new year. So let's go ahead and jump right in. What better way to close out the year, the old year, and ring in the new year than me encouraging you to come up with mindful changes for the year, for the new year. And, this is going to be more of a quick encouragement rather than a big lesson or even a checklist, because I don't really need to give you a checklist for just encouraging you to come up with mindful changes that you can implement during this new year. And also the reason I say that is because, in the next 2 weeks, I don't know if it's going to be the next week or the week after, I will be talking about, new year, same you, new mood, where we will talk about, creating change in this new year and implementing goals into our lives and whatever we need to do to feel like we are creating a plan for the year, and then be able to go after that and stay continuous, I guess, and not give up, and, push through with our goals and aspirations. But it's important to come up with some sort of changes you would like to implement this new year, just to push yourself, even if you are just working on current goals and not new ones. And I wanted to make sure that I just cap the week off by just, really giving you a quick reminder and encouragement that this is something that you should consider. And like I've mentioned before, there is no need for you to rush into this. I'm not saying you necessarily have to come up with this today. I honestly believe, and if you were able to come up with the goals and steps and journey that you want to take for this year within the first 2 weeks of January, then you're fine, because that period between Christmas and New Year's can be hectic, can be confusing, can be crazy. You don't know what's happening. There's a bunch of holidays in there. You're trying to figure out being caught up on work without getting without being overwhelmed or working too much, but really enjoying some relaxing time. I just personally do not like to create my goals in that time because I feel like it's kind of a hectic time where you don't even know what's going on. But if you choose to do that, or maybe you choose to start creating your goals at the top of December so that you can be ahead of it and you can jumpstart on January 1st, that's totally fine. I encourage you to do whatever way works best for you, but I want you to make sure and understand that you do not have to feel guilty or like you're behind if you do take a little bit of extra time to establish what your goals are going to be and what you are planning on doing in this new year. There is nothing wrong with that. It's better to take the time to figure it out, plan it out, create the steps that you could follow without it getting all messed up. I mean, things are going to happen randomly in our lives because there are so many uncertain things and surprises that can pop up at any moment. However, if you do take the time to plan it out and create what steps go when and where as best you can, then it'll be a lot easier to, go through your journey and accomplish the goals that you have for yourself, rather than trying to rush it and not really do a full in-depth, like not super in-depth, but you know what I mean, actually create steps. Because I feel like a lot of people will rush into it, create these big grandiose goals, and then they won't create any steps for them, and then they feel lost, and then by February or March, you're kind of falling off, and you're trying to decide if you should restart by then, or if you should just give up and then try to like focus on something else for the next 9 months, you know what I mean? When really, if you just taken that extra week or two, figured it out, got it all planned out, and then continued on, you don't feel like you had thrown away the first 3 months of your year because you decided to rush into your goal and not really plan it out. You really only took an extra week or two, and you're like golden, for the rest of the year generally, with a little few tweaks here and there. So do you know what I mean? So I hope you understand. But yeah, it's important to come up with some sort of changes that you want to implement this new year, just to push yourself and just to kind of like re-up current goals or what have you. And I want you to know that you don't necessarily have to make them big and grandiose. You really don't. It's just like a gratitude list. You don't have to, make it seem like it's the biggest thing in the world. It's just honestly, making sure that you are not going to not continue, but if you are currently, that's for you to decide. But just make sure that you aren't stagnant in your life. You won't feel like you're hitting a plateau or some sort of blockage in your life by mixing it up and adding some challenges, some goals, and just some changes that you want to make to continue to work on becoming your better self. Your best self that you can be is amazing and a great opportunity for you to take upon yourself. So when you're coming up with those changes, there are so many lists of examples of change you can make to make a difference in your life. There's really and I encourage you to seek Google for whatever changes you want. I'm going to give you a quick list of some examples. However, I would encourage you to go and look up things that were more specific to your interests or your desires or the path that you are already currently on, and then figure out some of those changes that would complement that current journey. Do you know what I mean? And, when I do talk about, my thoughts on how to create plans for your new year, in a week or two, we're talking about new year, same you, new mood. I will probably give you even more ideas of changes you can make, but also I will be talking about how to create goals and how to stay with your goals and stick through it, and what your mindset should be like, and then encouraging you to think about vision boards and manifestation and things like that. So, but yeah, for right now, if you just want to kind of jumpstart in some changes in your life, I would encourage you to Google it so that you do find something that is complementary to what your current goals are going into the new year and what you are currently going after in your life in general. So for example, here are some ideas that I pulled that I thought would be great for changes you can make, mindful changes for the new year. Volunteer more. That's fantastic. I understand that we're in a worldwide pandemic and that might not be the easiest thing to do. However, at least where I live in Washington State, there are still plenty of places you can volunteer. You can volunteer at churches. You can volunteer at pet humane society type situations. You can volunteer still with soup kitchens, homeless relief, those kind of things. You can still get out there and volunteer. Maybe you can still volunteer. I don't know what it's like for elderly homes or nursing homes and things like that, or in hospitals, but I assume that there has to be like maybe a small division that they are allowing to still continue to volunteer. So that is an idea. The next idea I have for you is to adopt an attitude of gratitude. I talk about gratitude every single day within the 5-minute reset, and I am all about gratitude. And if you're not new here, you definitely know that because I feel like it can change and shift your mindset and your perspective so quickly, so instantly, that it'll help you to kind of see things in a different light, and also be more proactive about focusing in on those positive, amazing blessings in your life, and not allowing the negative, terrible experiences to drag you down and, make you think so negatively and keep you in that dark hole of depression, sadness, anxiety, stress, whatever it is that you are battling. So I talk about gratitude all the time, and I do think that maybe if you decided to go into the new year by adopting the change of an attitude of gratitude, by being more grateful for things every single day, creating lists, maybe sharing those desires with someone else to encourage them to be grateful as well, falling back onto gratitude when things are not going the way that you wanted or desired, and just really continue to grow that presence in your heart so that you will fall back on that when things seem rough. You know what I mean? The next example I have for you is spend less and do more if possible. Again, I understand that this time in the world can be a little difficult to actually do more, but if you're able to do more and spend less, that could be really beneficial to you, especially if you feel like you're spending too much now. So maybe a good example of spending less and doing more could even just be like not eating out as much, and then cooking more at home, and maybe doing that as a family or as a friend group or whomever you are currently live with, or just yourself, and maybe looking up some great recipes online within whatever your grocery allowance would be. I understand, like, this is a viewpoint that we're coming from as well, that a lot of us are probably, if we can afford it, going out of our way to support small businesses, so we are eating out. However, I feel like there needs to be a balance there, because if you're eating out constantly, you're not necessarily taking care of your body in the best way. If you're not eating healthy, choosing healthy options all the time, which I feel like a lot of times we don't necessarily do that if we're eating out, you know what I mean? So I encourage you to create a balance there if you still want to support small businesses in this really tough time, but then also, spend more time making food at home. There's also other things you can do: spend less, do more. If there are consignment shops or Goodwills or places like that in your area that are open, maybe instead of going to the mall to buy something brand new, you can go thrift shopping, look for vintage things to wear, support the community. And that way, by, wearing things that are not new, and it kind of is more sustainable for the environment, I'm told, at least. So that could be an option for spend less and to do more. And then maybe you decide that you're going to get rid of just one of the streaming services that you have just for a little bit, just for a couple of months, and decide to do something outdoors instead, whether it's a walk or a hike, or maybe you'll start a garden, or I don't know if it's the right time of year to do that. Honestly, I'm not a gardener at all whatsoever. But maybe you'll just find something else to do outside. Maybe you'll decide to just clean up your lawn, or build something, or what have you. Maybe you want to start going kayaking. Like, that sounds fun. But yeah, you just decide to exchange one thing with another by spending less money and doing something else that's more creative, more fulfilling, and just to change it up a bit to, have different experiences that could really help your mindset kind of shift and change and become stronger and teach you new things that you didn't anticipate learning. Another example is to create a monthly budget. Budgeting is super healthy and helpful. You're able to establish your budgets within, like, eating out and your bills and, clothing and dates if you're doing that, streaming services, whatever it may be, shopping online. And it can just keep you within the parameters that you desire. It can also help you to create ways to save more money if you are wanting to save up for something, or just have a fund for a rainy day. That's super helpful, especially during this time. Or maybe you want to save up and buy something for someone else. That's great too. So creating a monthly budget could definitely be an important mindful change you can make for the new year. Another one could be create specific routines. So maybe you want to create a morning routine, a night routine. Maybe you want to create a routine in the middle of your day, especially if you work from home, and create create a routine where you get up, where you stretch, where you do a little bit of yoga, you take a walk, maybe you take a quick power nap, maybe you just have like some sort of way of taking clean caffeine, whether in tea or what have you, and just doing some sort of routine in your day, something for you to look forward to, but something that's also going to implement self-care and taking care of yourself, putting yourself first, and helping you to have a stable and balanced mindset and feel like your life isn't totally out of whack. And then the last one that I want to suggest is to decide to get rid of one bad habit. So maybe there's a habit that maybe you smoke, or you drink too much, like you feel like you drink too much. Or maybe you don't want to curse as much, or maybe you, I know a bad habit that I want to work through, just to be honest with you guys, is to not waste so much food. So a lot of times, for me, I will get a little overzealous, whether I'm ordering groceries online or going to the grocery store, and I'll buy things and I'll think that I'm going to cook them and then they go bad, or I don't find a way to preserve it. So for me, I want to for sure stop wasting so much food when we put it in the freezer or even the fridge, because it's wasteful, and I know someone else would have happily eaten that. And my solution to that is just to meal plan more and be very specific about what we're going to eat each day, and be a little bit flexible with a day or two here, and then only buy things I need for that week, and then hopefully just shop once a week, and then that will be helpful. I feel like that's a bad habit that I want to outgrow. So whatever you feel like is a bad habit for you, you can maybe use that and carry that in as your mindful change for the new year. I'm not saying you can only get one, you can get 100 if you want. It's up to you, whatever you feel like is best. But yeah, so those are my examples for you. Hopefully that is helpful. And I do want to leave you with this thought that I have kind of mentioned yesterday, is it does not have to be New Year, New You. It doesn't. You're going to see that everywhere if you haven't already. It can for sure be New Year, same you, new mood, new attitude. That is the thing that I'm going on about, and that is the thing I'll be talking about in a week or two with you guys here, and how to implement that into your life. Because, I feel like in past years, and maybe even now, everyone's always encouraging you, New Year, New You. Change everything about yourself, change a lot of things about yourself, go into the new year wanting to be a different person. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that if that is your desire, if that is your true desire. However, I do not think that needs to be the baseline for everyone. A lot of us already feel good about who we are, what we're doing, what we're going after, what we're accomplishing, and that's fantastic. So just continue to do what you're doing, especially if it's working for you, but then also implement just some mindful changes, just a different few things here and there. Kind of review your year, figure out how you need to shift your goals and the steps that are going to help you to accomplish those goals, right? You don't have to change so much. You can just change minimal things and still feel really good about the upcoming year. You do not have to have a total new you, new year. It's just not realistic for everyone. And I really wish that people would stop doing that, because they're encouraging people to not really enjoy who they are, love themselves fully, and really dig deep into who they are, and become more self-aware and trust in who they are and have more confidence. They're taking away from that severely. So I encourage you to understand that you do not have to engage in New Year, New You. You can engage in New Year, same you, new mood, new attitude. But that's all I have to share with you guys today. I told you it would be a little bit quicker, just encouraging you to come up with mindful changes for the new year. But again, thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, my name is Sabrina. Happy New Year to you guys. Happy Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. I hope that you come back next week and join me for what we're talking about. It could be the New Year, same you, new mood, or it could be something else, and then we'll shift to that topic the week after. I'm not sure, but it will be within the first 2 weeks of January. But again, Happy New Year. Have a fantastic day and weekend. Check the description box for notes for the show, where to find me on Instagram, my personal and the show page. I encourage you to check it out. I will admit that I am one day behind. I'm posting my little reminder of the episode for Thursday, so I'll probably post both of those today, just as a reminder. But I am super active on my personal one, always posting on stories, and then posting in my feed every couple days. And so I encourage you to, check the description box for where to find me there, or my email address. And all of those, you can send me any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, or just to say hi and hello to me. I'd love to hear it. But again, Happy New Year, Happy Friday. Have a great day, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.